I have a question for you that someone asked, and I feel like I am not the right person to answer it because I've never really like struggled with liking more than one gender. What advice might you have for somebody who has mostly dated men, who's assigned female at birth, identifies as a cis woman, and is starting to have feelings for...
Side note, you say cis.
Yeah?
I hate it.
Okay.
Cis.
What advice might you have for somebody who's just starting to feel like they might like other genders? They live with people who are not accepting, like family that's religious and such. How to reconcile their feelings about liking more than one gender for not being straight.
So my best advice, and maybe we can post this under the video, Elise wrote a really thoughtful, amazing article about how she had a very hard time going from dating all cis men to experiencing more of her queerness. And I feel like a lot of us have that because dating cis men is easy. Like, it's like what we are taught. They're selling them by the pound. Like, there's just so many of them. It's easy and we're used to it. It takes a lot more effort to date people that are not cis men.
Where do you find those people?
Honestly, like online, I think is probably a good way to kind of like dip your toes in. The thing that I struggled with is when I started dating Jay, not invalidating my former self because I feel so strongly for Jay and feel so right with Jay that it almost feels like, wow, maybe I've just always wanted to date AFAB people. So I think that it's hard to not invalidate like your past self and your past sexuality when you start dating people who are assigned the same gender at birth or are not cis men. You just have to decide if you want to do it and if you want to stay in your comfort zone with cis dudes or if you want to like try new things.
I think it also depends on the age of the person. Like, if you're young and still living at home and you rely on and need your family, then like also stay safe.
Always stay safe. I never feel unsafe in my family settings. But there are things that you don't have to tell people. Like, people are not entitled to to information about your sex life. People don't. You don't have to tell anyone shit about you or who you're dating or who you're talking to. And if you want to, you can. But if it's a safety thing, like, it's okay to feel very justified in not saying a goddamn thing to anyone. It can feel a little bit scary when you're considering not dating cis dudes and you're a cis woman. It's just, it's a whole new like ball game, and also, wow, so fucking worth it. I had slept with people who identified as women in the past but had not had a relationship with any AFAB person before Jay, and it's working out pretty good. And I still feel like all of my relationships from the past with cis men are valid too.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, don't expect it to be the same, and also be patient with yourself while you learn. Petty, come on.
Baby.
Oh, hello. Hello, friend.
I don't know if I answered that well.
You did. Taco. Snoot, snoot. I loves it.
Driving's hard, and that is definitely my ideal time to do a video with you, baby.
I have a vlog because I'm a vlogger.
Right.
So this is the style that we're doing it in.
Favorite place to buy pants? My current favorite jeans are from Simply Be. I think they're the Chloe Extreme Vintage Wash. I buy them in the short style. And I also like pants from Torrid. I also really, really like Slink jeans. Do you want me to answer these? This is your channel. Why aren't you?
Okay, I get pants from Torrid, and most recently King Size.
And we've also got some from Woman Within.
From Woman Within, which I hate the title, but it's fine. How did you meet?
Do you want me to tell the story about how we started dating or how we met?
I'm happy with you telling all the details that you feel comfortable with.
Okay, Jay is a moderator for my Fat Girl Flow Fam Instagram. And so we had each other's information and stuff, and we had each other's Snapchat. We had never really intimately chatted. We never really like talked one-on-one too much. And I did something that I absolutely do not think anyone should ever do.
We do not condone this.
I do not condone this. It was wildly inappropriate, and also I am a human being, and I do inappropriate, not super smart things sometimes. I knew Jay was single, and I knew Jay liked me. And those were the two parts that led me to snap Jay a picture of my titties and see what their response was. And we haven't stopped talking since. We bought plane tickets to see one another within about 4 days of that snap. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Them titties are magical. I was gonna say that people don't know, but actually they probably do. Still, they're magical.
Consent is very important.
What are some benefits that are unexpected of having a similarly fat partner? The sex is really good because there's so much trust and understanding and easygoing nature about physical limits and insecurities and stuff that just like melts away when you're dating somebody who like completely understands those and not being afraid to try and move your body.
Yeah.
What not sex related do you think are some unexpected benefits of having a similarly fat partner?
Okay, so this is a little expected, but I really like the importance with which I feel it is unexpected. I feel like you out of all my partners, and I have dated other fat people, I can talk to you about hang-ups I have around perceived things about my fatness. So I was talking to my sister, who's very thin, about this. And,
shout out, hey.
And we were talking about how like laziness gets grouped in with fat people, right? And how we get like shamed for wanting to be lazy. But like my sister is one of the laziest people I know. She's also one of the most active people I know.
Right.
But like she's lazy just like I am. Like we love fucking taking a nap. I'm lazy. Like I am just a lazy person.
But that's the thing, is that thin people get to be well-rounded like individuals and have multiple characteristics about themselves, and so your sister's allowed to be lazy and also do active things.
Right. And I very much feel like when I tell you that like I'm feeling like some kind of hang up about that, or like some shame about something I'm feeling, like you just get it. Like I don't have to explain it. I don't have to try so hard with my language to make you understand it.
Yeah.
It's just like you fucking get it. As silly as this is, you and I are able to say, I don't want to go to the store today because I just don't want to walk around a fucking store.
Right.
You know? And like I don't feel shame about that. Whereas with smaller partners, I have felt like you're gonna think that's because I'm lazy because I'm fat. When in reality, like, people sometimes just don't want to do things. Like, and that's just fucking okay, you know?
Yes, baby. Tell them. That was really passionate. Next question. How do we handle going somewhere new? The anxieties that come up with going somewhere new and not knowing if we're gonna fit, if the booths are gonna, or tables are gonna be sufficient, if the aisles are gonna be difficult, how much walking is there, all the feelings that come up with going somewhere new. I was just gonna say that I feel like I struggle with this more than Corissa because she's more comfortable and more like settled into allowing herself to advocate for her needs, and I'm learning how to do that and how to feel comfortable and not like a burden in doing that.
I think I'm more effective with it.
I think you're more comfortable with getting your needs met, and like you don't feel as much anxiety about going somewhere new as I do, because you're basically like, you're basically like really comfortable with like, hey, if it doesn't work for us, we can leave and go somewhere else.
Right.
Whereas I am used to that feeling very shameful, like, oh my god, I can't believe we have to go somewhere else because I can't fit. But really it's like the venue doesn't serve us.
Right. The other day we went into, I really wanted to try this new space. If any of you are local, it's Alchemy Coffee, and I was so excited about it. I know that they have the best baked goods, and so I was like, let's just try it. And we walked in, and literally like the bar was so close to the other tables that we couldn't even walk to where the seating was. We stood there for a minute, we looked around, we like assessed it, and I was like, all right, like we can't be here. I mean, the truth is I'll probably like write an email to Alchemy and, you know, tell them like that sucked, and I hope that like there's space made for these kinds of things, because also it's not just me and Jay, you know, like if Jay and I can't fit through something, neither can a fucking wheelchair. Making accommodations isn't really making accommodations. There is a problem with the space. It is not us in any way, shape, or form. It is a problem with the physical space. You did not do it correctly if we do not fit. Maybe tell them about when we went for a walk the other day.
What, like when I had a meltdown?
Yeah, and just like how we talk each other through that or whatever.
What helps the anxiety is being able to have someone you trust to talk about it with, because then you can figure out what to problem solve around it or not to at all. If you want to just like give up, that's okay too. We went on a walk. I was trying to rush through it because I'm used to basically trying to rush myself through life so that I can stop feeling the pain and how I can stop being
And like
a fat
also,
person in public.
Like fitness instructors teach you pain until the end, and then you feel relief.
And just like push through it. So we were going up a hill. I was like really trying to force myself to get it over with and just get up it. And at the top realized, because Corissa pointed out that like if we just casually like took our time, it wouldn't hurt my feet as badly and it wouldn't make me come so out of breath. I didn't really recover emotionally from like feeling that the whole way home. I was just like really trying to get it over with and thinking about people seeing me huffing and puffing and having a hard time walking our dogs. I felt really ashamed by it. What is the point of talking about this? So like I was very anxious and just wanted to rush through it, and Corissa like stopped. We stopped in the middle of the street. She was talking to me and she was like, hey, it's okay, nobody's watching, and even if they saw us, it's okay, we're taking a breath, that's all right.
In those situations, I think just reminding one another, hey, there are times where I have been like, baby, I want you to go get the car, you know, like, and even just voicing that sometimes, like, there is something about just being able to say what the fuck you want to say without the other person like shaming you for your body.
Right.
That is so essential.
Give yourself the space to exist without judgment. Taco! What's it like having a non-binary partner?
I have no peso! It's lit.
Is it? Why?
Okay. I love having a non-binary partner. And also, there are some things that I can't understand that I think make things a little bit difficult.
Relationship-wise, what's it like having a non-binary partner?
Being with a non-binary partner is the sexiest thing I've ever done. Wow.
God.
So a lot of people don't know that I identify as non-binary. I think that I identify as non-binary in a way that is much different than how Jay identifies. I don't identify as trans. I just don't believe in the binary, and I don't want to live my life in a way that adheres to binary thinking. So I still use like she, her pronouns. I don't identify as trans.
Experience dysphoria?
I have experienced dysphoria. I found that my dysphoria was much more within myself and not an outward expression thing. And I feel like I like handled it in therapy and like then
you found your authenticity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of people who are non-binary don't need to find it through expression, and so it's more difficult for them. Don't want to take up space in the non-binary community. That is not my goal.
Not that dysphoria is necessary to be non-binary.
Right.
It's just a component that sometimes happens for
I
people.
do think it's a component that happens more frequently for people who identify as trans.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't. That being said, Jay uses they, them pronouns. That is a part of our relationship that it's not difficult for me, but it is absolutely something we have to talk about a lot. That is important for me to make Jay feel like safe in certain environments. We have both had to learn how we want to cope with misgendering and stuff in different situations. We are both navigating how to correct people publicly. Like sometimes you have hard gender days.
Yeah.
And on those days, like I really try to step it up.
Yeah.
You know, and on the days where I see that you're like really struggling, the people who misgender you in passing, it makes a big difference that you see me correct them.
Right.
You know, that you need that validation. And then on some days, it's like we reserve our energy for people who we care about.
Right. Some days I can laugh at it, and other days I'm like, I am so over this.
Yeah. Being with someone who's non-binary requires just a fucking lot of talking.
Yeah.
Which luckily we love to talk.
I love being non-binary in a relationship with someone like Corissa, who's like so understanding and also doesn't believe in the binary, because our roles are entirely fluid. There's really no rules as to who's supposed to do what.
And also,
hello.
sex is fantastic.
Sex is really
Non-binary
good.
sex is magical. Dating someone who's non-binary requires some thought, but luckily that is the stuff that I like in relationships.
That's the shit I do like.
Yeah, intimacy is my kink.
That's my puppy, squishy face. Yeah. She loves it.
One of the things about dating someone who's non-binary, when you're like trying to introduce them to family,
It's quite interesting how
they're like, "But you are a boy with vagina." So that's interesting because they're just like, I mean, I think people are like, "Are you gay?" And I'm just like, "Yo, it's chill."
What is it? Is something wrong with Taco? Do we need to go check? It doesn't seem like anything's wrong. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Goodbye to you. I have no pencil. I